Alrighty.
Taking my gloves with me. It's a bit cold out this morning when we were out earlier.
Should probably start downstairs, instead of recording here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Happy 2015.
Thank you. You too.
That's a typical conversation, eh?
I know. People are so used to seeing me on my scooter that when they see me walking, they're just amazed. But then I get some of the other too that, you know, they've seen me walking and then they see me in my scooter and think, oh no, what's happened? Are you know? And, well, I use my scooter like a car now. I have to use it for distance. I can't drive anymore because I gave up my license way back in the 90s.
So, my first question is, how long have you had MS?
Officially diagnosed in 1990.
How long did it take you to get a diagnosis?
It was actually pretty quick compared to what I've heard from some people. I was having problems in late 89. I mentioned it to my doctor, and again in March of 90, and she sent me to a neurologist, and he sent me for an MRI, and in August of 90 I was diagnosed.
So how did your disease progress?
Oh, well, initially I didn't think it was a big deal because I didn't know anything about it. I kind of just had a few spells of tingling legs, some numbness in my legs, and some weakness, but that was no big deal. And then it hit me hard in 92. I think it was April 92. I suddenly couldn't walk, and everything changed. I had to go to the hospital for intravenous steroid treatment for a week, every day for a week. And at the end of that, I seem to have recovered a lot, although I still had some lingering symptoms. Couldn't really walk very well. Felt a little bit weak, but.
So you went back to work?
No, that's when I had to stop working because I had lingering symptoms. I couldn't do my job. I thought, you know, it was relapsing, remitting, and I thought, okay, well then I have an attack and I recover and then I'm fine. But then I had another attack.
You mean a second attack after this one when you were in the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was, I went back in the hospital in October 92. I remember it well because that's when the Blue Jays won the World Series.
Okay.
And I was a big baseball fan at the time. And
did you play baseball?
Softball. I played softball.
Oh, okay. And volleyball.
And volleyball, and I swam, and I used to be extremely active. Okay. Used to be.
So after you got out of the hospital the second time, what was your EDSS score? Do you know? Or?
Oh, no idea, no. But I was probably, okay, the second time that I went in for steroid treatment, it didn't do anything.
Okay.
I had severe double vision on that visit, plus the walking got bad and stuff, and it didn't change. I didn't get better from the steroid treatment, and they said, well, there's nothing more we can do for you, and they sent me home.
So that's the diagnose and adios part?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I went home, but I couldn't do anything. He's in rough shape.
Were all your symptoms just related to walking, or did you have more at the time?
No, there were more. A lot of them that I really didn't think about at the time. But I had, I don't really know. It's so long ago, I can't remember details.
Yeah.
But it was mostly sensation-oriented, that I'd have numbness and different tingling.
Kind of sounds like a blood flow issue to me.
Well, now that I know a little bit more about blood issues and circulation, I remember I had joined a MS support group, and they used to, they recommended that I try this massage technique, or this massage group that the School of Massage had a special outreach program for people with MS. You could go there and get an hour-long massage for like $5 at the time. That was in the mid-90s. And I used to go to that on a regular basis. I was using a scooter by then, and but that was a big deal to go for that.
I want to cut for just 1 second. Okay, go ahead.
That was a really big deal because I was kind of a different case there, because I would go in and I could not lift my right leg at all. Like I'd sit on the edge of the table and I'd go like this, right? And they'd be, you can't get up on the table properly, and it would be a real struggle. Then I'd have a massage on my legs, and I would sit on the edge of the table getting off, and I'd go, wow! And they'd go, they would freak out every time they saw this. They just couldn't believe it.
Every new student.
Yeah, I had a new student every 4 weeks. And the instructor there asked me to show the students every time because it was quite interesting. The only problem was that by the time I got home, within an hour or two after I got home, it was back to the way it was before. But
it's interesting that would happen, though.
Yeah,
no matter what.
I didn't really understand anything, but apparently it
doesn't really tell us that it's about blood flow, does it? I'm not really sure.
Not for sure.
But why is it that signals in the brain and the spinal cord are going to be triggered by a massage in the legs? I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
No, ask your neurologist, but they don't care.
Oh, I did ask my neurologist, and they never had any answers.
No, for sure.
The MS clinic didn't understand that.
So what else did you do for your MS?
Oh,
I've heard crazy things like bee stings and...
Where do I start? I tried... Well, the first thing I really tried was the swank diet. I started that in '92 and followed it faithfully for a few years, but it was really hard because way back in '92 you could not find healthy food like you can these days. But I tried. It caused me a lot of stress. I couldn't do proper food preparation, and it was really, really difficult. But I tried and tried, made less friends because of it.
Why would that be?
Well, because they'd invite you to a barbecue.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to bring something that you were allowed to eat, and they'd be offended because you couldn't eat what they made. It was just hassle, a lot of hassle. And I tried, but they call it the swank low-fat diet.
So how long did you try it for?
It was over 3 years.
Okay, well, that's
Over
a good
3
try.
years.
And how, did it make any difference in your disease progression?
No.
Okay.
It didn't. It made me gain weight.
Okay.
Because even though they call it low fat, it's not really low fat. They just don't want you to eat certain kinds of fat.
Right.
But I did learn a lot from it.
Okay.
And I still sort of try to follow some of the principles of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not just not.
So did you try anything else? Did you try beta-seron? Did you try mania?
That's really interesting that you bring up these drugs, because I was originally relapsing remitting, but then by 1996 I was what they call secondary progressive, and there were no drugs.
Well, what does secondary progressive mean?
It just means that you're going to get worse. You're not going to have attacks and get better. You're not going to relapse and remit.
Okay.
You're just going to get steadily worse.
Okay.
They just don't know how fast.
But I've seen you like 4 years ago, and you seem a lot better now.
Wow. And
clearly, you're relapsing remitting.
No.
Just really long cycles.
No. I am confirmed secondary progressive, according to my medical records that my neurologist, who has seen me for 25 years, has noted. And the drugs that were approved.
Oh, sorry. Go back to that.
Beta-seron was approved in like 96.
Oh, yeah.
But I was already secondary progressive, so it wasn't for me. It was only for the relapsing remitting cases.
Okay.
Which I believe is because then it might look like the drug works to get you better when it's actually a natural remission.
Well, that's what the science is for. So.
Well, yeah. And then, now that I've become aware of CCSVI and have been researching more, it turns out there was a study done in 2012 on beta-seron that there's absolutely no evidence of any improvement in progression
in the long run.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you have to suffer all of the horrible side effects without getting better. It doesn't make any difference.
Stop and look at the pond and the ducks.
Okay.
Okay, I should do a cut here. It was a sunnier day yesterday and warmer, but so we have 8 minutes left on the. So we have 8 minutes left. I might have to switch the chip out.
Whatever.
Anyways,
let's go back.
So, okay,
Where was I?
we've been building up to the CCSVI.
Well,
What was your
that's the
perspective
thing.
of that?
I was never eligible for any of the drugs because I'm secondary progressive. So there was no treatment for me.
Yeah, and like I've been trying to get you to say you just bee stings, but you never did.
Well, I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
But you see,
going.
it has been a long time.
Yeah.
It really, even before I knew you, I had MS a long time.
For sure.
And because I got involved with these support groups, one of them was a holistic group that was trying different alternative therapies. So I tried, what did I try? Reiki, I tried Feldenkrais, I tried, I forget. There were so many different things. Nothing helped. I tried bee sting therapy. Yes, I would get stung on purpose by bees. Several times, like I think it started with 4 times a day and went up to like 8 or 12 or something like that. I did that for about 4 months. And initially, like the first few days, I thought, wow, I'm actually feeling a little more energetic. Maybe it's doing something. Well, that was about it, and that would last for a couple hours, and from what I understand,
well, that's probably just adrenaline, you think.
Exactly. The pain from the sting would produce adrenaline and give you a little more energy for it.
It's not about energy.
So, I mean, I've tried a lot of stuff. but nothing ever did anything until March 17th, 2011. That's when I had the venoplasty for CCSVI.
Which is the condition?
Chronic cerebrospinal venous insufficiency. And my venoplasty made such a difference in my life. I'm out walking because of that. Couldn't have done it before. I have a shoelace untied.
Oh. See, this is like amazing. You actually bending over and doing that.
It's just sort of loose. But I got the gloves on. I can't feel it there through the gloves. Could you imagine? Did you tie up my shoe before?
No.
I couldn't tie shoelaces, actually. I could only use Velcro shoes.
I didn't even notice. I guess that's true, isn't it?
That's true. It was Velcro that I used. That's cute.
Well, that's a happy coincidence.
Funny. What else? What can I tell you?
Let's talk about. Can you name all of your symptoms?
Oh,
like
well,
currently and perhaps the ones previously.
Before the treatment, before CCSVI treatment. Okay. The most noticeable thing was my balance. I had no balance. I would be, holding on to walls in the apartment to try and get around. That, along with my drop foot, which was that I couldn't flex this foot. It was really stiff, and I had to drag it kind of like this, and I'd be leaning against the walls, struggling to get by. It was horrible. That was probably the most visible, noticeable thing. But I also had extreme heat intolerance. I couldn't go outside on a sunny day. Actually, that's not true. I'd go outside, but I'd zoom to the mall where the air conditioning was and get some relief from being in the air conditioning. But,
I think mine's like 50.
Fatigue, tired all the time. The headaches. That's something that you can't really portray on camera. I used to get a headache almost every week that would not go away, no matter how much ibuprofen or Tylenol or whatever I would take. It was still there. It would fade a little bit, but still there, and I just feel terrible. Which, since the treatment, almost 4 years ago, haven't had one of those headaches. Let's see, what else is there?
Memory problems?
What? My memory? My memory's still not great. A lot of that has to do with menopause. What else? Oh, my emotions.
What's that called?
The PBA. Pseudobulbar effect.
Can you spell that for me?
PBA.
Oh. So, pseudo.
P-S-E-U-D-O. Bulbar. B-U-L-B-A-R. Affect. A-F-F-E-C-T.
Thank you.
And that would leave me extremely emotional. I'd be riding along on my scooter, and there'd be a sign on the sidewalk saying, sidewalk closed. Well, I'd start bawling instead of just going back, half a block and going down the curb cut and going in a different direction.
But in all fairness, that still does irritate you a little bit. I can tell that.
I get irritated.
Yeah.
Well, anybody I think would get
for sure.
irritated.
Yeah.
But I'd start bawling.
Yeah.
Or I'd have a fit of hysteria and laugh like crazy over nothing. And I could just start crying over the smallest little thing with people watching, and I'd be so embarrassed.
So how did the Prozac help you?
Well, I took Prozac from, I think, about 96. I started taking Prozac, and I don't think it changed anything, really, because I was still very highly emotional. I was told to take that by a counselor at the MS Society when I was seeing her about my marriage breaking up. And she was concerned that I was crying all the time. Well, I think that should be sort of normal, but I don't know. But then when my marriage ended and I was out on my own, I didn't feel as stressed. So I don't know if it was the Prozac or just being out of the relationship. So, but I mean, I'd still have the laughing and crying fits.
You don't do that anymore. But I didn't see you doing that a lot when I was with you either.
Well,
like
yeah,
10 years ago.
Probably not. But you didn't see me like a couple of times when I'd have problems. I remember being in the mall with Sarah, and I was upset because I can't remember the details. We were in a store, and I think I sort of nudged a pole or something. It didn't fall or anything, but I started bawling that I was crying.
That's just 2000?
Yeah, that was, yeah. Yeah, that was probably about 2005.
I think we're going to need to make a second video.
See? It's been a long time. 25 years since I was diagnosed.
We have 53 seconds left.
Huh?
53 seconds
53
left.
53 seconds left? I'm not going to make it home before the camera dies.
But I think
can you believe
I think the audience can believe that you've made it home since it's right through there.
How long is the memory card in there?
It's like 20 minutes.
20? Yeah. Oh, only 20 minutes?
Sure.
But I've been walking for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Plus the bit getting down from the apartment. And,
yeah, that's pretty good. Eh?
Can you believe it?
Sure. I can believe it now.
Since CCSVI treatment.
Yeah. Well,
Yay,
can you imagine?
angioplasty.
If you imagine 4 years ago, you might have been able to make it to the pond. And then.
Oh, not
that far, maybe halfway.
Not as easily, and not. Oh, I don't know.
You would have hit that.